Hi, and welcome back to the Emmy Awards. My name's Emi. This is my podcast where I talk about whatever I want once a week. This episode will be out later. If you noticed, it's not coming out Thursday because my life is kind of crazy right now. So, or at least I'm very overwhelmed. I also had a bit of a rough day on Tuesday. Got some really sad news that I am not going to talk about just because it's heavy and it's sad, but I'm fine. As fine as I can be. But anyways, so I typically record on Tuesdays, and I was having a very productive day Tuesday. And then I got some really sad news, so kind of derailed my day, and I didn't feel composed enough to record a podcast, so I didn't. So I'm recording this on Wednesday. So it'll probably be out Friday or maybe late tomorrow, but probably Friday. So, yeah. Anyways, I never actually, as of recording this, I haven't even, posted about episode 15 because I talked in the first, half of it about my job, and I hadn't received a formal offer letter. And in my brain, I was like, I can't post about this podcast episode until that's confirmed. So now that I have gotten the offer letter and I've started my paperwork, I will probably tweet out, probably tomorrow when I'm like, oh, this week's episode is coming out a day late, but I never posted about last week's. Anyways, none of this literally means anything to you. This podcast is overwhelmingly a place for me to just talk and sort through my thoughts about a variety of things. So I feel like sometimes I have to do that about the podcast itself, but I understand that that's annoying. For those who don't know me, if you stumbled upon this video, my name's Emi. This is my podcast, yada, yada, yada. I am in the middle of a move. I am moving to California at the end of the month, early next month. So my life is kind of just all over the place. Things have just been moving really quickly, apartment wise. And I applied to an apartment today. I really hope I get it, but who knows? And I have a lot going on because I'm also sorting through all of my stuff, trying to decide what I want to take with me. My birthday is coming up and I have a trip planned for that. Not a huge trip. I'm just driving to Connecticut with my twin sister to the town that Stars Hollow is based off of. And we're going to have a cute little Connecticut day, evening, all of that. So I kind of have a lot going on. And on top of life, I've received some bad news. So my brain haven't been able to record a podcast. I did have an idea for this one. Because I'm what's topical right now? What's going on? And the first two things I thought of were Gemini season and Pride Month because it's June. So I think I'm going to talk about both astrology and Pride, all of that. Before I get too deep into it, sorry about the weird, annoying intro. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on social media so you can stay up to date on any delays that happen in this next month, and probably into July as well. As I get settled into living in a new place. I'm moving to California. Yeah. So I currently reside in Maryland. It's a lot of distance. Big change. So, and I'm really excited. I'm very happy about it, but it's anyways, I talked about that more in the last episode. But yeah, so please bear with me. I've also really gotten bad at posting on TikTok, and I don't know, the month of May was just so all over the place for me that I really just didn't I haven't been the month of May was crazy for me, and then it ended with me getting a job offer, and then everything this month has been planning for moving. like apartment searching, sorting through my boxes, like packing, unpacking, organizing. Like my brain, I've been going nonstop, like since the end of April. And so it's thrown me off my little routine I had living with my parents recording this podcast. Hopefully when I get settled in a new place, I can figure out a day of the week where maybe I don't have as much work. Like maybe if I get a weekend off or something, I'm not totally sure. But depending on that, or a lot of my work is at nights from my understanding. So maybe sometime during the day, I'll just I'm sure I'll have free time. So in my free time, I'll probably still keep this podcast going. But again, it might take me a while to figure out like when is a good time for me to record a podcast. So, yeah, please just stay with me through it all. This podcast is not going anywhere. It's just going to be a work in progress for the next few weeks, month and a half. I don't know. Anyways, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is Gemini season. So I'm a Gemini, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about like I was going to say astrology journey, but that sounds like very dramatic. So I didn't know a ton about astrology, and I always knew, well, actually I didn't know that my birthday was on the cusp, but I always all I knew, it was I'm a Gemini, and I always loved that before I knew anything about astrology because I'm a twin, and I'm like, that's so cool. I'm a Gemini and I'm a twin, iconic. And then when I started getting more into astrology, I noticed that a lot of things had my birthday. Some calendars would be that's the first day of Cancer, and I was just who am I? But I always said I was a Gemini. My dad told me that my uncle read my birth chart at some point and that I'm a Gemini. So I always thought I was a Gemini, but then when I was a first year in college, I joined a sorority, and my sorority was really into astrology. So I had my birth chart read for the first time, stuff like that. Learned a lot about being a Gemini. I have to say, I don't know if because at first what I knew about Geminis at first was oh, twins. That was my basic introduction. And then when I started before I really got into astrology, but when I started hearing about it more, and I feel it became more popular, or I don't know, maybe I was just on the internet more. Everything I read about Geminis was that they sucked, okay? And I was maybe I'm not a Gemini. I was very, at first I was cool, and then I was I don't know if I like this part of my identity. I don't know. People are so mean to Geminis. And so then when I had my birth chart read, and I learned a lot more about different aspects of my chart, I started feeling more comfortable about being a Gemini because I feel on CoStar, your sun sign is basic identities, right? It's very people fit into the molds, but it's very I feel not always, but I feel sometimes your sun sign is very surface level, and then when you get to know different aspects of your identity, of how you are in relationships, how you communicate, how you your emotional side, I feel those form you into a three-dimensional person. And so it's don't get me wrong, there are plenty of Gemini stereotypes that I feel I fall into, and I think they're funny now. I don't really get offended. Who cares if you hate Geminis? I don't really care, okay? I have a vendetta against Aries men. Does that mean I'm going to meet a man who's an Aries and automatically be think a certain way of him? No, it just means that I've had bad experience. It's, I don't take it this thing where it's religion and it's an absolute and anything like that. I mean, I think, I even look at my twin sister, because I'm a twin. We have identical birth charts, except maybe I don't know, because we were born 2 minutes apart. Maybe there's something that on houses are different. Maybe, I don't know, degrees of the planet's locations maybe are slightly different, but like our like chart is practically identical, and we are still very different individuals because I don't think like I think I don't know, like there's astrology to me is just fascinating because I feel like, and why I say the thing about like stereotype is because I feel like, I don't know, I've been thinking about this a lot when it comes to reality TV, because I will watch reality television and I will, after like one episode of like The Bachelor or something, I will try to guess somebody's star sign, and like a lot of the time I'm pretty right, or at least I get like if they're fire, air, like all of that. And I feel like it's because a lot of the times reality TV like takes parts of you and makes like a very two-dimensional like character. Like it makes you a villain or it makes you like a hero. And I feel like, I don't know, astrology is such an interesting way to view that for me, because I'm like, obviously, like somebody being a Gemini does not tell me absolutely everything about them, but I feel like it does give me some insight. Like reading people's birth charts to me is just like the best thing in the entire, like I love it. Like I love reading people's birth charts. I love getting people into astrology. Like it's really fun for me. And I think, I don't know, I associate it with like very positive memories because like I learned about it from my sorority, and like it was just always a very like, you know, it was so nice learning about myself in like some capacity. And I appreciate my horoscopes because I don't know, it's nice to have guidance and feel like, oh, okay, the universe is like, this is why this is happening. Like, you know, I don't know. I feel like there are some people who like are like so on the side of like none of that is real, that it's like sometimes it's just like depressing. It's like, it's fun, okay? Am I saying that this is like a science? No, I'm saying that it's fun, I enjoy it, and I feel like it tells me certain stuff. I also, somebody told me once that like when you learn about your like horoscope, sometimes you start acting more like them. And honestly, if that's true about being a Gemini, I think it did me good. I think I was kind of like, I'm outgoing now, like, you know, it's fine. Because you know, and I don't think those things are necessarily like linked in like completely. I think that I just learned about astrology at a time where I was like coming into my own and I became a lot more confident, because I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast, but like I reached a point at Kenyon where I was like, I literally don't care. I don't have the energy to try to not be myself. And like I let go, and I was just like, I'm going to be myself like 100% of the time in every setting. And that's when I like started making friends, and like things started working out for me like socially, because I wasn't trying so hard to get other people to like me that I was so in my head. Like I just stopped caring, and it was really great. And I feel like in my brain, those like in the timeline in my head, those like kind of went hand in like that, and me starting to like act like a Gemini went hand in hand, because I was a lot more social. I was a lot more like communicative. I was a lot more like, but that was just because I was letting myself be myself. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't know. I love astrology. I genuinely feel like when Gemini season comes around, it is like my month. Like it's my month. Like good stuff is happening to me. Plus it's Pride. Like I'm sorry, but name a better month. The month of June, the best month in the entire year. I don't know. I just love June because it's like it's like a half point through the year, and I feel like it's such a good time to like turn a new year, because half a year's already gone by. Like I'm going into a new age. There's always like something is always shifting for me, and it's like a good check-in point of like, where has this calendar year been for me? And what do I want to do in the second half of it and the first half of the new age that I'm turning, that I haven't done, or what's been good. Like it's always just such a good time for me to turn a new age, because the school year's over if I'm in school, or like now I'm like literally moving. Like I don't know, there's always something about June that is like such a good point for me to like reevaluate how my life's been for that year. And yeah, June is just, again, best season ever. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought about astrology. I genuinely, it's so fun to me. Like, it's so fun. I wasn't really into it in high school, so it's just fun for me when I'm on, like, I literally only have Facebook because I'm like friends with people from high school, and then it'll be like, it's their birthday, and I'll be like, that's their star sign. I literally have so many friends on CoStar because I add people if I like have spoken to them like one time. Like, if they come up on my quick ad, I'm like, yeah, if I know who you are, like, I will add you. So I only do it like once every like 3 months. I'll go on my quick ad and I'll just add a bunch of people. And like half the time it takes people like months to like accept, because a lot of people have the CoStar app but like don't check it every day. And I don't even check it every day. I check it like, it depends like how I'm feeling. If I feel like I need to know like if things are going to be good for me, things are going to be bad for me, like when I'm expecting good news or like or hoping for good news, or I'm like it's a busy time in my life, I'll check my horoscope a lot more, kind of like guidance, and like see if it gives me advice, because CoStar sometimes is like, avoid this, like avoid that, or like I don't know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it giving me some form of advice. And I think, like, I don't know, I love, because people are, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Okay. It genuinely, it brings me a lot of comfort, and it makes me understand the world, and I enjoy it. Like, I don't think it has to be so deep of like, anyways, I love astrology. Like, it's one of those things that I do take seriously, but it's also like not that serious to me. Like, it's just fun. And I really love just not witnessing, but like paying attention to like how certain like signs that are repeated, like how similar like those people are in my life. And like, I don't know, there's just something really interesting about it. And maybe it's all psychological and like confirmation bias, and you like you just notice things that are more like Leo of somebody, if you know they're a Leo or something. And then like you start noticing things that like other people have, like, I don't know. But I also think like when I learned about like different aspects of my chart, like things just made sense to me so much, because I can't pronounce this word, because my Mercury. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please don't like be mean to me in the comments, okay? There are some words that I just never learned how to say properly. I used to say the word adorable really weirdly. I don't know if I still kind of do, but people were like, you say adorable really weirdly. Now every time I say it, I'm like self-conscious. So anyways, if I say Mercury incorrectly, I'm sorry. But my Mercury is in Cancer, and that's like how you perceive, or that's how you communicate, I believe. I'm losing my train of thought. I think it's how you communicate. So because it's how you communicate, like and Gemini is ruled by that planet. It's like, I don't know how to like explain it properly, but the way, like, it made so much sense to me, because it's like the way I view emotions. Like, I communicate from a very, like, emotional place, and, like, my facts, like, CoStar many times will be like, your facts are your feelings are facts to you. Like, there is a line from High School Musical where she's like, I confused my feelings with the truth. And that is literally me. Like, I am so emotionally driven, and, like, it's taken therapy to be like, just because I feel like somebody treated me this way, or just because I feel like judged or insulted, like, let me look at what actually happened. And like, but it just makes so much sense to me. It makes so much sense to me. I am probably not articulating it properly. But I don't know. I love being a Gemini. I love Gemini season. I think June is just such a good month because, like, it's not, you know, I said this in the last podcast episode or maybe the one before, but like I saw this thing that said like Gemini season is the pregame to summer. And it's so true because Gemini season ends on the summer solstice, my birthday, and that's the beginning of summer. Like it's just amazing. Like it's just a great transitional period for me. It's always just filled with so much positivity, and I love the month of June. It's great. I love the month of June. I love being a Gemini. I love astrology. I literally bought a book on cat astrology because I wanted to know how to parent my Gemini cat. So, and honestly, it has brought me a lot of comfort, that book, because one time my cat escaped and I literally was like, my cat astrology book said that like if your Gemini cat is an outdoor cat, like it's okay if you don't see them for a few days because that's just what they've got to do and they'll come back to you, like, you know, with a bit of knowledge and like they're fine. They just like to explore. And like my cat is not an outdoor cat. She just got out. But I was like, she just likes to explore. It's okay. She'll be back. Which like I had no doubt that she would come back on her own volition. Like I know she loves me. Like I didn't think she would just like running away because she didn't want to be around me. It's just the area that she ran. Like I lived in a place in Ohio, like on campus, where I was like, to one side there's like the woods and the other side is like a busy street. Like I just thought she was gonna get killed. She didn't. She's alive and well. Her 5th birthday is June 15th. So she's doing well. But yeah, astrology and me are besties. If you guys want to know my whole chart, I am a Gemini sun, Libra moon, Libra rising. Yep. Triple air. Kind of crazy. As in I am. And then no, you guys don't understand. If you don't understand astrology, you really don't understand. But like, you don't understand. I am like 90% like air and fire. Like I mostly have air, fire. Like my least represented thing is earth, which is like supposed to be like stability. Like no wonder. Anyways, so I'm a Gemini, Libra moon, Libra rising. My Mercury's in Cancer. My Mars is in Libra. Mars is how you deal with conflict. My Venus is in Leo, which I love. I love my Venus Leo. I feel like it makes me very, like, I don't know, hopeless romantic. I love wedding shows. I've never been to a wedding. Maybe if I did, I would not like them so much. But I love watching Say Yes to the Dress. I love watching like 4 weddings, that show where they like compete for like whose wedding is the best, and then the winner like gets a free vacation. Love that show. I just love. Okay, I love. I'm very like idealistic and romantic in love. Although I am kind of grounded in the fact that every single person I've ever liked has rejected me. So, you know, as much as I'm a hopeless romantic and I think everybody's going to fall in love with me who I fall in love with, like that just hasn't been the case. So, you know, people keeping me grounded. Although, you know, everybody, like, I'm amazing. Why wouldn't you want to be in love with me? Like, but also, like that's not something you can control, you know, who you're interested in. I just happen to meet a lot of people who have bad taste and are not interested in me. That was a joke, okay? Because I think, like, the truth is, if somebody was interested in me, I would be like, wow, you have horrible taste, you know me. Anyways, something I like about being a Gemini, or something, you know, that I identify with Geminis, is people say Geminis are two-faced. And that was, like, something that I was super, like, not into, right? When I was, like, learning about astrology, I was like, ugh, you know, I'm not two-faced. But, like, the more I think about it, like, I am kind of wishy-washy, not on, like, very deep, core, important things that matter to me, but, like, on, like small topics or, like, a new topic that I'm learning about, like, unless it's something very heavy and very serious, like, I am easily swayed. Not because I, like, don't believe in the things I believe in, but it's, like, I'll take in new information and I'll change my opinion. Like, I'm very, open to constantly changing my opinions. Obviously, like when it comes to things that I feel very passionately about and deep held beliefs, like I'm not very easily swayed. I've had very like consistent opinions on a lot of things for a very long time, but like I'm very like wishy-washy. Okay, I'm very indecisive. I like that about myself, okay? I like it, okay? Sometimes it's not great. Like being a Libra, like having a Libra moon, Libra rising, like I am so indecisive. Like I'm so indecisive. I cannot choose something for the life of me. And like half the time it's because honestly, like either option is like perfectly fine for me. Like I'm chill with either one. I also like my opinions change constantly and so do my like moods and my emotions. And I like that about myself. I like that I'm not like, I don't know, it makes life more fun. Sometimes it makes life more difficult, but it's like, if my emotions don't hurt me or other people or they don't cause me to act ineffectively or make a situation worse, I don't really think there's anything wrong with being emotional and being open about being emotional and being expressive and being all of the things that I am. Yeah, little chaotic, but that's okay, organized chaos. But yeah, I like I'm not two-faced. I'm just multifaceted, okay? Like I literally am. Like sorry that you don't understand me and that I'm a complex human being. But anyways, I don't know if I have a lot of Libra in my chart. Like my Mars is also in Libra. My moon's in Libra. Like I have so much Libra in my chart. Which I at first was like very like not opposed to, but I was like, that doesn't make sense to me because my mother's a Libra. And like, I do feel like I'm like my mother in a lot of ways, but I also like don't. And it's because different aspects of our chart, like my mother is like a Virgo rising or something. Like that is not me in any capacity. Not me at all. But yeah, so I don't like, I only know my Gemini, Libra moon, Libra rising, Leo Venus, Cancer Mercury, Libra Mars. I don't know the rest off the top of my head. I one of my planets, like one of my social planets is in Taurus, I think. I don't know if it's Saturn or the other one. And then the other one is like I have like one placement that it's a Taurus, and that's it. The rest are either air or fire or water. So yeah. And I have to say, like, going back to my point, this is all over the place. I'm a Gemini, okay? Live, laugh, love. But like something I was saying earlier about like it's not like an absolute for me, like I'm not going to write somebody off. Like I did not have like the best, most positive view of Virgos because like the only person I had beef with at Kenyon, okay, it wasn't beef, she was just mean to me, so I don't like her. She's a Virgo, so I was like, I hate Virgos. And then I lived with and became best friends with a Virgo who is like my bestie, ride or die. He's going to be the best man at my wedding. Like I'm going to have a best man and a maid of honor. He's going to be my best man. And then my sister's going to be my maid of honor. Like he's a Virgo and like our charts are like, we are totally not compatible. The only thing like literally CoStar will be like, you guys cannot be around each other except if it's like the only thing is like sex and, aggression, I think is the way it categorizes it. Like that's the only way we're like compatible astrologically, but he's like one of my best friends and like we lived like we worked really well as roommates because like we both communicated and like we had like he was very put together and I like was a little bit chaotic, but if he was like, Emmy, can you wash the dishes? I would wash the dish. Like, I'm not hard to live with because if somebody's like, Emmy, can you do this? Or like, we would trade off every other Friday. Like somebody would take out the trash. Like, and he's one of my best friends. Love him to death. And he's Virgo. And I would have been like, oh, he's a Virgo. But like, it's not like astrology is not like the end all be all in my, like the way I understand friendships. I also think Virgos and Geminis actually are kind of compatible because we're both mutable signs. So yeah. I have to say the Virgo Gemini friendships are just supreme. Like I love my Virgo besties. You know who else is a Virgo? InDesign. I mean, like, written in the stars, me and InDesign, me and Ezra, you know. So I think that's my little spiel on astrology. So sorry for using that word. I don't know. I feel like that sounded so cringy. Yeah. But yeah, I love astrology. I think it's really fun. If you're friends with me and you don't have me on CoStar, like, add me. Okay, I'll add you back. I love checking how my friends are doing at CoStar. I would literally, before I would hang out with somebody, if I had them on CoStar, I'm saying this in past tense because I haven't hung out with anybody in a very long time. But like at Kenyon, like if I was gonna hang out with somebody, I would literally check their CoStar to see how they were doing. And like obviously, like you still ask the person how they're doing, but it's nice to see what the stars say for the person. Maybe not, but that's just me. But yeah, happy Gemini season to those who celebrate. We end with a bang. Emi's 23rd birthday, June 21st. Mark your calendars. It's Emi Cardinale Day. Best day on earth. Please write me a happy birthday. Down below, or just in general. You have like little less than 2 weeks left to wish me a happy, or to prepare to wish me a happy birthday. And if you want to buy me a gift, I'm moving. So like any kind of household thing would be nice. Like a decoration, plates, a nice mug. I don't really know, anything. Thanks. So yeah, that's my little fun part. Not that this part's not going to be fun, but I'm going to talk a bit more. Like now I'm going to talk. The two things I wanted to talk about were Pride and Gemini season. So I already did my Gemini season. So I'm going to talk about Pride now. And maybe I'll talk about astrology a bit more later. And if I don't end up talking about Pride that long, maybe I'll talk about something else. Who knows? So yeah, it's Pride Month. I've never been to a Pride parade, and I kind of want to go, but I feel like I probably already missed the one in DC, or it's like this weekend, and I don't want to go this weekend. So maybe next year will finally be the year I go to a Pride parade. I just honestly never wanted to go when I was underage because I'm like, I feel like everybody's going to be drunk, or like, maybe not, okay? If you've been to a Pride parade and you're like, wow, I mean, okay, that is so offensive. You do not have to be drunk to enjoy Pride. Okay, I'm so sorry, okay? But I have anxiety, and I just feel like big crowds, even pre-COVID, I was like, I don't think I would enjoy this if like a lot of people were intoxicated and I was sober. Like, I just don't think I would enjoy it. Not that you have to have, like, not that I have to be drunk to have fun, but if I'm in a setting that I've like never been in before, and like there are a lot of crowds, like there's a big crowd, and like a lot of the people in the crowd are like, you know, partying in some capacity or like intoxicated, then I will literally just be like, I will just not have a good time. I guess maybe it depends who I go with as well, like who, but I never wanted to do it. And then I turned 21 during COVID, and I haven't wanted to go to a big crowded event. So this year would have probably been the first year that I would have considered it. But now, like, this month has been, like, I don't have time to think about it. But anyways, so I don't know how I label my sexuality, okay? I don't know, okay? If somebody's like, I mean, what are you? I don't know, because I've gone back and forth like a million times. I don't know what I am, okay? Maybe that doesn't make sense to people, okay? And, like, I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense to me either. But I was watching this YouTuber who, she had identified as bisexual for a very long time. She had a fiance who was a man, and then, but they had an open relationship, so she would still, like, hook up with women. And when COVID happened, she wasn't able to do that because everybody was staying inside, and it kind of like cut her, and it ended up cutting her off from like that queer part of her, and she realized that like she was gay. And I'm not saying that I am a lesbian, okay? I'm not saying that I'm a lesbian, but the way she talked about things made so much sense to me, because she was like, I always said like I'm 100% bisexual, and people would be like, what does that mean? And she was like, well, I know I like women. And like liking men was always kind of like implied for her. And I've always felt like I kind of feel that way too. And for a while I did think maybe I'm just like a lesbian, because I was like, I don't actively want to date men right now. And I always like really, for a very long time, and I don't know now, I don't think about that now. Like when I think about who I'm going to end up with, like gender isn't part of the equation anymore. But for a very long time, mostly just because I haven't been in a like long-term relationship with anybody. So I'm like, I don't know. I would want to see what it feels like to be in a relationship with a man, a woman, somebody who's non-binary. I don't know. I would just like to see what being in a relationship is like, and maybe then I'll like now I'm like I'm open to anything because I genuinely don't know. But for a while I was like, I do not see myself ending up with a man. Like I just don't. I didn't really feel comfortable around men. I didn't really feel like safe around men. Overwhelmingly, when I would like tell men that I liked them, it ended up not being a positive experience. Like for a while, I talked about this a little bit in my Valentine's Day episode, but I like just wasn't that interested in dating in high school, and I would tell people I liked them and they never liked me back. And like I do remember the two last people, like I told a girl I liked her, I wrote her a letter, and she was straight, but she was super nice about it. And then I told a guy I liked him as well, in high school. So I don't know if I think anything I'm like bi, but I really, every time I've tried to pick a label, it hasn't, like I feel uncomfortable. I don't like labeling myself, and I have nothing against labels. It just personally like doesn't vibe. Like I don't enjoy it. For me personally, like I feel very restricted. And then I just feel like I can't change my mind. And I know that people like come out as things and then like fall in love with different people, or like and then they change and that's fine. But for me, for some reason, and I had the same problem to like a lesser extent, obviously, but like when it came to declaring a major in college, I was like so undecided for a very long time. Libra. Libra moon, Libra rising, indecisive. I was so undecided about what I wanted to major in, and like you can declare and undeclare, but for me, I was like, if I declare that I'm a math major, which I was thinking about for a while, like I am just gonna see it through. Like I'm gonna see it through. Even if I'm failing out of college, like I will fail out with the math major if I like, and I know that's probably not a healthy like way to view things, but I was like, I don't know, I'm so bad at like, when I feel like I've committed to something, or if I'm like, I identify as something, like, I don't know, I need to get better at it. But now I just like, I don't label, I'm like, I like people, I don't know. But I don't know. So I didn't really think about dating in high school. And then the first experience I had in college was not a positive one. And immediately after I, dealt with like very uncomfortable like advances from like old men in like a group therapy setting. And after that, and then like the therapist was not very helpful, like the group leader. And I don't know, after that I was literally like, I don't want to be around men. And then part like for very like, and that kind of just, it happened subconsciously. And then I was like, do I not like men, or am I just like scared to be around them because of my bad experiences? Like I don't know, it became this thing where I was like, I feel like I'm so in my head. And then anytime I would like have a crush on a guy, I was like, do I actually like him, or is this just me? Like I don't know. It just became this thing, because for me, I've never doubted that I like women, but liking men, as this YouTuber whose name I literally don't remember, like said, like she was always like, I'm bisexual because liking men was implied. And to me, for some reason, that kind of feels like that always felt like the case for me as well. But I have to be honest, for a while thinking like, I'm not interested. I don't know. I also, it's like if a man is nice to me and he's like remotely cute, like I am like, but I don't know. I do think that I like men. Like I do. I don't know. And it's like, and you might be like, I mean, what are you attracted to? But it's like, I don't know. Like I'm open to anything, genuinely. Maybe like that's part of it, that I've had very limited experience. So I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But I don't know. I know I like girls, women. I know that. And I'm pretty sure I like men. And like, obviously, like I'm open to anybody. So like anybody in between. I remember one time I said like, I'd be like open to dating a non-binary person, and somebody was like, that means you're pansexual. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true. Okay. First of all, I don't want to label my sexuality. And two, like, no, I'm open to anything. So I don't know. But I remember when I was younger, for a while I thought I was asexual, just because I was like, I don't know, I was like sophomore year onward, I was like, I am not interested in having sex. And it felt like not even that my friends were having sex. I don't know why, but I thought the fact that I was like, I'm not interested in having sex, I thought that made me asexual when I was like 15. And in retrospect, it's like, Emi, you were a child, like you were worried about school. Plus also like 15 is when I started going to therapy. So it's like I had bigger issues. But for a while I thought I was asexual. Then eventually realized I was just a kid. Not that happens to everybody, but yeah. And then I'm like, I don't know. And then I think back to my childhood and I'm like, I don't know. Okay. I literally, when I started like really thinking about my sexuality when I was like a teenager, like I would just, and I went through a thing like a year ago. Maybe it was like 2 years at this point where I was like, maybe it was even like 3 years ago. I don't know. It was like a year-ish where I was like, maybe I don't like men. And now I'm back to like, maybe I like men. I think I do, because I haven't been like forcing myself, but I will like, have like found myself developing feelings for like guys. So I do think that it's not like compulsory, because I genuinely like would be fine never, like I don't know, because I'm like, I don't care like to be heterosexual. But I don't know, maybe it's so ingrained where I'm like, I don't know. I go back and forth because I don't know. Maybe that does make sense to anybody, but if it makes sense to you, welcome to the club. I also, I don't know. I feel like it's really hard for women, especially, or like femme identifying people perhaps, but it's like, so much of like your identity in society, like I feel like it's like a somewhat like the idea of women not being connected to men somehow is like, you know, like I feel like it's like double, or not double, but it's like especially weird. Not weird, but like it's especially hard because it's like, it's, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but anyways, yeah. So I lost my train of thought. I'm also like self-conscious about my hair. I lost my train of thought, but I don't know. I don't know how I identify. I'm open to anything. If you think I'm pretty, let me know. But I just, I remember I was going to talk about my childhood. Because I remember I would watch like coming out videos when I was like 14, and people would talk about like things in their childhood. And I'm like, oh my God, literally me too. Because I had like really close female friendships when I was a kid, which like, that's not that weird. But I had this like friend who was like my bestie, like we were best friends. And I remember we used to like touch tongues. I don't know why. And I think about them sometimes and I'm like, that's kind of disgusting. You were like 7, like you're definitely like, that's kind of gross. you were not germs. But like we were like besties. Like we were besties. I also remember one time I had this American Girl doll like notebook or something. I don't know. And like one of the prompts was like, in 10 years, I will be. And I literally wrote in bed with, and then my best friend's name. And it's like, obviously when I wrote it, I was like 7 and I meant like having a sleepover. But I saw that and I found it when I was like 14 or something. And I erased it because I was so mortified. Like, I don't know. But I do remember when I was in elementary school, like girls would be talking about who they have a crush on. And literally I would like pick the guy that I thought was the most stereotypically attractive. And I'd be like, that guy, I like him. I had no feelings towards him whatsoever. Like I still like vaguely remember, like I have this very vivid memory of this kid who I'm like, I felt nothing for him. Okay. I literally felt nothing for him. Like not disgust, not like a crush, nothing. I felt nothing towards him. And I was like, I love that guy because I wanted to be like I wanted to be like my friends. So I don't know. Like there are moments, but I also like there was a kid who like I was a very short kid. And there was this kid in my Catholic school who I remember him because at some point like we were both really short and it was like this like he was like my best friend ish. Like I don't totally remember him. All I remember is that one time like I don't know if it was my sister or my brother, but somebody like teasingly was like, he's your boyfriend. And I was like, no, he's not. Or I was like, yeah, he is at some point. And everybody's like, let me confirm that he was like, I don't know. But I do remember like lying about having feelings for people when I was younger because I was like, yeah, I like them. So I don't know. That was something that always I thought about. But I don't know. I'm open to anything. For me, it's genuinely like, and I know like, I don't know. Don't be like, I mean, that's another thing. Okay. Don't try to label me in the description. Not that you will. Nobody ever comments on these. It's just me talking to myself. But like, it's not like, I don't know. For me, it's like, I will immediately like find people physically attractive. Like obviously like I do find people physically attractive, but for me it's like that fleeting sensation. Like I find a lot of people attractive. Okay. I think like so many people are attractive and like but for me it becomes like an attraction of like I am starting to like have feelings for them. Like when I hang out with them and I like feel like get a feeling for their personality. Like for me that is like way more of a factor. And obviously there are people who I'm just like not physically attracted to. And even if they're the nicest people on the planet, like as much as I love them, that doesn't mean that I'm like gonna like be interested in them in that capacity. Like that's still true. But it's like for me, the way somebody makes me feel and like the way I feel around them and the version of myself that I feel I am around them is greatly overpowered by like physical attraction, which is why I have the hardest time on like dating apps and stuff because I get bored so quickly because I'm like, you're like pretty and you're nice to look at and I would like to kiss you, but I know nothing about you. And because I have so many trust issues, I'm like, I'm not going to like, I don't want to kiss somebody or do anything else with somebody, like, unless, like, I feel like I trust you to some extent. And maybe that's, like, weird, okay? But I have issues. And I'm going to protect myself as much as I can and be careful because, yeah, I want to be. So, but yeah, I don't really know if I really, this isn't like a coming out video. This isn't like my sexuality journey. I just kind of wanted to like talk out loud about like my identity and like how I feel. And maybe in 5 years, I'll feel completely different. I'll be like, I'm a lesbian, or I'll be very confidently like, I am bi, or maybe I'll never like pick a label. And I think that's fine. I think part of my identity struggles is I always got very used to being like two things at once, like I was Venezuelan, but I'm Venezuelan, but I'm also like kind of American, but I'm also kind of neither, and so when it comes to my sexuality, I feel like it's easier for me to just be like, I'm open to anything and I'm just interested in people, I know some people are like, that's pansexual. Okay, but I don't want to label myself, so who cares what it is? I feel most comfortable being like, I'm open to anything. I am attracted to women more than I'm attracted to men. Like, honestly, like, I find, like, I am more frequently attracted to women than I am men. But, like, it's not like I've never been attracted to a man. I have. But, so I don't know. I don't know, but I, like, and some people are going to be like, I mean, that's bi. But again, it's like, who cares what I am, okay? I don't want to label myself. I'm just talking about how I feel. And I feel most comfortable not having to, like, confine myself to one thing. I like just being Emi. And every single, like, facet of that is just, it encapsulates me. And I am just myself without having to, like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I like labels sometimes, okay? I'm like, I'm a Gemini, like, I'm an immigrant, I'm a person of color. I enjoy, like, certain aspects of, like, finding, like, not feeling so, like, individual all the time and feeling, like, alone. But I also like not having to, like, restrain myself to certain things. And I think when it comes to my sexuality, especially as somebody who hasn't had much experience, like, romantically, I don't know. Right now I'm like, I don't want to label, like, I don't feel the need to label myself because I'm young and I'm open to anything. But I do know I do know what I like and I do know what I'm open to. But anyways, so happy Pride to anybody who is in the LGBT community or allies. We love allies. My dad, I almost said my Pablo. My dad we have, like, a flag that's always, like, in our, like, the front of our house, like, outside. And, like, my parents changed it. There's, like, spring ones. There's, like, a fall one. Like, it's just a nice little flag. And my dad put one out, like, at the beginning of June, like a little pride one. So we love our allies in this. But yeah, I think that's just me. That, Gemini, queer, who knows? All of the above. I am just myself, and that's who I am. So, yeah, happy Pride. I think Pride is super important. And I think, on a serious note, I think as much as people like to say that, like, the United States of America is, like, equal or whatever, and, like, fair, and, like, there's marriage equality, so what else can, like, but I think the way that people still talk about queer teachers, about trans youth, about trans people in general, I think goes to show that it's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing battle, and we can't stop fighting. We can't, because the people are always going to throw shit back to the community, and, like, and so Pride, it matters, and it matters beyond, like, corporations, like, selling rainbow things. It matters because there is tangible harm being done to the community, like, in, like, politically, and, like, there's still progress to be made, I guess, is my point. So I think Pride is important in that regard. And it's also just important to, like, to have a month where you feel comfortable being yourself and proud to be who you are. Like, I think Pride is a beautiful thing. And yeah, there's work to be done, but there's also pride to be had about the progress we've made and where we are and all of that. And I would like to thank the people who came before me, everybody from the Stonewall riots. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but I literally took Intro to Queer History. Like, I should know this. Or Intro to Queer Studies. It wasn't history. It was just studies in general. But I actually don't know if we talked about Stonewall. But anyways, we probably did. But yeah, like a lot of people fought for a long time for what we have now. And so now it's on to us to keep fighting for more and standing up against idiots and transphobes, homophobes, all of that. So yeah, I don't know if there's like petitions or anything, but if I find something, that'll be good. And if you are questioning your sexuality or you are closeted or any of that and you're just like struggling to be proud of who you are, I understand. It's really hard. It's really hard. And it's something that's deeply personal. Like something that really like hit close to home that I heard somebody say in a video once, like years ago, is like people love to reduce sexuality and like being gay or being like queer or whatever to like a sexual thing. And it's like so much more than that. It's about like whose hand you want to hold and like who you love. And it's like, it's when you're like 7 and you're having crushes on people for the first time, like you're not thinking of it in like a sexual way. It's just like who you want to be around, like who makes you feel something. Yeah. So anyways, happy Pride, happy Gemini season, best of both worlds. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Please be patient with me in the next few months, you know. Please wish me a happy birthday, June 21st. My cat's birthday is June 15th. My shirt says I want it to be like messy. Messy as in Messy, not Messi like the football player or soccer player. So sorry to my Americans. Although I am somewhat like Messi because I too took human growth hormone. So, and I only learned about Messi because I took human growth hormone and everybody was like, oh my God, like Messi. So, but this is Olivia Rodrigo merch, but I just thought it was kind of fitting because I'm a Gemini. I was talking about my bestie Ezra, and quick story and then I'll wrap up for real. And like, so I have a book that's like the astrology of you and me, and it tells you like each sign in like a variety of different contexts, like bosses, first date, like how to woo somebody, a roommate, like an ex, your parents, a child, like spouses, like so much like different aspects of it. And so I read like the roommate section, and for Gemini, it was like something about living in like their carnival. So that became an ongoing joke. So welcome to my carnival. This is my carnival. Thanks for following along. You know that TikTok sound where it's like, so that's my life. Me right now. Thanks for watching. So anyways, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. All of that good stuff. Happy Gemini season. To all my LGBTQs. I love you. Well, not all of you, okay? Some gay people suck too. Equality. But anyways, hope you guys have a great week, great rest of the best month of the year. And I'm going to wrap up for real now because I'm getting annoying.